Good morning everyone, welcome to Bridal Army TV. I am your host Dawn Rose, and in today's video we're going to talk about the good, the bad and the ugly of pricing our bridal services. Today's going to be a little bit different, couple of things. Got a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, I've opened up Bridal Business School waitlist. Guys, Bridal Business School is a whole training that you have never ever experienced before. It's completely different to any other business training you've ever had. If you've never had any business training, then you're going to be thrilled with this. It's all about building our bridal business and attracting brides. I don't teach you how to do hair. I don't teach you how to do makeup. What I do teach you is how to build a successful business in weddings. So if you want to get waitlisted, Bridal Business, for Bridal Business School, you go to dawnsbridalarmy.com/waitlist. Now, second thing, which is kind of linked to that, is the fact that in today's video at the end, I'm actually going to give you a copy of a calculation spreadsheet that I've put together. It's a Google Doc, so anyone can access it, whether you're a PC or Mac user. And so stay tuned at the end. Again, you can get that, you'll get it if you join my waitlist. Now, the reason why I've just waitlisted is because I'm not ready to quite launch yet, but those of you that are on my waitlist, when I am ready to launch the business, which is coming really, really soon, Bridal Business School, you'll get some awesome bonuses just for being on the waitlist. So join up, dawnsbridalarmy.com/waitlist, and you'll also get a copy of what I'm going to show you at the end of the training today. So, before I get started, for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Dawn Rose. I am by day a hairstylist and makeup artist, bridal specialist. I live and breathe weddings, and by night I try and help other hair and makeup artists grow their business in the wedding industry so that I can help you guys attract brides who book you in advance, pay you on time, and don't haggle your prices. Good morning, Tina. Is this something suitable for me? Yeah, this is a kind of an all-rounder thing. Now, this is a little bit different today because normally when I talk about pricing, I talk about we talk about trials and we talk about weddings and we talk about, you know, the day, we talk about upsells, we talk about packaging, discounting, that kind of stuff. Today, I'm actually going to talk about the lifetime value of a customer. So I want to talk about how we can work out whether we're pricing ourselves in the right market. So it kind of is for everyone, Tina. It's completely up to you if you want to stay, if you want to watch the replay. For those of you that are watching me, I've got a frog in my throat for some reason. Excuse me, guys. For those of you that are watching on the replay, for those of you watching me on YouTube, hello to everyone on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to ever catch me live, I'm over in my Facebook community, Dawn's Bridal Army. Now, so we're going to talk about the lifetime value of a customer. So we're actually going to talk, I'm going to talk a little bit today, we're going to get a little bit deep to start off with. We're going to talk about a few things I've seen coming up just recently, which is kind of like concerning me a little bit. Oh, business school. Tina, maybe not for you. Look, I would get on my waitlist, Tina. So that you can at least find out what it's all about and then you can judge it by then. You are kind of at the top of my pyramid. So, but I am going to do like a kind of separate part of Bridal Business School. It's coming up soon. I promise I'm going to share more with you guys. I'll share it in our group first, and then I will announce it. But definitely get on the waitlist so that you hear all about it first. It's not going to do any harm. It's just your name and email. So we're going to talk about today the lifetime value of a bride. So with our brides, we need to really understand kind of why we charge, thanks Tina, why we charge the way we do and why some people charge less than others. We're going to talk about that because I've seen that a lot in the forums just lately. And we're going to talk about how we can kind of empower them maybe to charge a little more, or we can understand why they're charging the price that they charge. And there are reasons for it. So we're going to go into that today. All right. I want to start off by saying that in this broadcast today, I don't want to offend anyone. What I will also say is that I believe nobody has the right to dictate your price, but then you don't have the right to dictate somebody else's price either. I will never tell you guys what you should and shouldn't be charging for your bridal services. I would give you a guide. I'm happy to say to you, well, you know, from the research I've done, here in Australia, it tends to be industry standard is somewhere around $70 to $100 per person, per face or per head. that's kind of like that kind of seems to be. I've done a few polls in the forums. I've asked lots of questions. I find out. I talk to other makeup artists, and general consensus is most people charge around $80-$90, but anywhere between it kind of ranged between $70 to $100. Are there people that charge more than that? Gosh, yes, absolutely. And they're attracting those brides and they're doing great in their business, which is fantastic. But are there people that charge less than that? Yes, there are. So what we're going to talk today really is I kind of seeing a lot of rants. Okay, so I see a lot of rants going on in a lot of the bridal network groups, and even in kind of just general kind of client hair and makeup community groups. But it can generally, most of the time, it's all about price. And I see kind of two rants that take place. The first one I see is you get the makeup artist, and this is kind of, guys, this is kind of geared towards makeup artists because it kind of happens more with makeup than it does so much with hair. But you get the first rant where a stylist will go into a forum and they'll say, oh, I'm so frustrated. This bride, she asked me for my price. I gave it to her and now she wants a discount. She's asking me for this and she's asking me for that, but I feel like I'm reasonable. And, the makeup artist is like really, really sort of stressed and sort of worried and saying, oh, but I feel like I'm at the industry standard. I feel like I charge a reasonable price and, blah, blah, blah. And then you get the other rant, which is, oh, I'm so frustrated, I'm so fed up, this makeup artist is only charging $40 a face, and, how dare they bring the industry down, etc., etc., right? So we get these two types of rants that happen a lot in the groups. The first one, though, with the makeup artist saying, oh, I'm really frustrated with this bride, what you get is most of the time, you get support from others. You get, don't worry about it, stick to your guns, you can do this, hold your ground, we're all behind you, we back you up. You get kind of love and you get uplift and you get kind of, support from all of your peers around you. Unfortunately, when it comes to the other thing where makeup artists are angry at other makeup artists charging what they perceive to be too cheap, right? They're too cheap. And then unfortunately, it brings on this massive amount of hate and anger and frustration and fury at those people who are charging what others perceive to be too cheap. And it really can bring down a group. And all joy to a bridal stylist group I'm in, the owner of that group said, no more. I'm not having any more. You can't tell people what they should and shouldn't be charging. I get it that you're frustrated, but no more. I don't want it in the group. And it really is. I understand people's frustrations, because it's really tough to try and feel like you're competing against somebody. And how can you compete and get these brides when somebody down the road is charging a quarter of your price? But I want to tell you this. If they're charging a quarter of your price, the person that goes to them is never going to pay your price in the first place. They are never, ever, ever going to be your bride because they're not going to pay $100 for a face of makeup. They'll pay $35, maybe $50 at the most, but they're never going to be your bride. So you can't see these people as your competition because they're really not your competition. Your competition really, I guess, are those people around you charging $100. And then you need to think about, well, hang on a minute. Who are they attracting? Who are their ideal market? My target market, for example, is, I've told you guys before, my target market is the natural bride. And, I was charging between $80 and $100 as I, started to move on in my business, etc., etc. And I wasn't competing against anybody else that was kind of like doing the glam bride or a modern bride. They weren't my target market. My bride was natural, lived in my area. I had a whole person in my mind when I was doing any of my advertising, any of my marketing. So my price suited my bride. And this is where I think I do understand. I do understand why we get frustrated by the fact of, why are they so cheap? But at the end of the day, it shouldn't bother you. If they're cheap, there's a few reasons. We're going to go into that. I've got 4 reasons why these people are cheap, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. But we can't go about our lives being so angry and having so much hate towards other makeup artists because there are reasons why they charge the prices they do. So I'm going to go through those reasons. Now, guys, what I want you to do is to share out this broadcast and to give me a thumbs up if you're listening, give me some hearts, give me anything, even if you are watching me in the replay, if you're on YouTube, I would love for you to copy this URL and post it into your personal newsfeed on Facebook, because the thing is that people charge the lower prices for these reasons coming up, and I'm going to tell you these reasons, right? But one of the reasons is that, you know, kind of they don't know any better, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But we are, by watching this, you guys are educating yourselves in how to build a successful business, right? But if they don't watch something like this, if they don't learn and understand about building their business, it's never going to change. So I need your help to get the word out, to spread this around, to share the broadcast in amongst your groups, so that people can feel empowered to raise their prices. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about reason number one. Now, reason number one is that they've probably just started out in the industry. Now, here's what I mean. In 2005, I completed my beauty diploma, having spent, before that I was in a corporate life, but from 2005, I actually qualified in beauty, nails and massage, right? I was very qualified. I went to beauty school. You know, I learned to do every nail technique under the sun. At the time, it was gel, fiberglass and acrylics. I did massage therapy. I'm a qualified massage therapist, and I've done sports massage, and I did hot stones, and I've done that, you know, in my beauty career here in Australia. And I'm also a beautician. I did makeup as part of my beauty diploma, but I can do, you know, facials and waxing and everything. Like, I'm a qualified person. But when I started out, $35 a face, everyone. I was charging $35 a face. You know why? Because I felt like I just started out. I'm trying to build a portfolio. I need to make a name for myself. And so I didn't think I could charge any more than that. And I think that some of these people that are charging this lower price is because they've only just started and they don't really know what else to do right now. So they're trying to build up their portfolios. They're trying to build up their business, and they're inexperienced, and they're thinking, well, if I go cheap, at least I can get a lot of people under my belt, and you know, I can gain experience. And so you have to understand that sometimes with these people, it's because they are just inexperienced and they're just starting out. Now, reason number two, which is kind of the first sort of three reasons that are really joined in with that, is the second reason is that they don't value their services. They don't value their work. And again, when you're just starting out, you kind of think to yourself, well, you know, I don't think I'm really worth any more right now. Like, I'm new to weddings and I'm very inexperienced and I'm still trying to get my feet around here. And you feel like you're not worth the money that you perhaps think to yourself, well, I feel like I'm worth a little bit more, but I also don't feel like anyone's going to pay that price because I don't have that experience behind me. And that's another reason. So we're just starting out, and so we kind of devalue our services. And, you know, even though I was, you know, fully qualified and in everything that I did, I still, you know, wasn't sure that if I put my price up even to $50, that anyone would pay me for that, because they could see that my portfolio was quite weak. It was quite small. And I didn't have the experience that other people would have that were charging $50 a face. So you have to remember that another reason why people don't charge a higher price. Now, I'm really kind of talking about those people that are charging, like, say, under $50 here. So if they're charging under $50, another reason is because they don't value their work any higher than that. And that is something that is more of a mindset issue. Because, you know, it is all in our heads, because, you know, we've done our beauty school, right? We've got the money, we've got the education behind us. Technically, we are worth more. I mean, we could go and work for somebody else in a salon and probably be paid more than what we're actually charging personally ourselves. But it is all in your mind. And again, something like this, like Dawn's Bridal Army, like the whole reason why I started this up was because we don't know. I can't believe people still charge under 50. I know, Tina, and unfortunately, it will happen. It is going to happen. I think that there's two people. There's some people that just charge under $50, and they have been doing it a while, and we'll go on to why they do it in a second. But there are those that do charge under because I feel like they're not confident in themselves. And what I'm hoping by having Dawn's Bridal Army and having all these free trainings and stuff that I'm giving you, I want to empower those stylists and makeup artists to feel like they're worth more. And, you know, it is a mindset thing. It's a confidence thing as well. And, you know, these reasons are genuine to that person, the person that's charging that price. It is genuine to them. They feel like, they do feel in themselves, I'm not worthy. I'm not worth charging more money than what I do now. But it's up to people, you know, it's up to us, it's up to people in my group, it's up to people watching us today on YouTube and on Facebook for you guys to share this broadcast out so that they can understand where I'm coming from and where other people are coming from when they're kind of getting angry. And I don't want people to be angry about others. Like I said, I don't want to go into the groups and hear people say, oh, you know, I'm so sick of people charging less than me, because, you know, they're not your clients for a start, and you shouldn't have to worry about it. And there are reasons why people do it, and we just have to empower them to charge more. Now, the other thing is that, you know, I know from when I did my beauty back in 2005, and I also 2 years ago I qualified in my Cert 3 in hairdressing as well. Now, there was no time when my teacher said to me, you need to charge $45 for a haircut. You're never told what price to charge. And as I said, I feel like that there are some industry standards, and we can do some research and find out what they are. That's what I did. That's how I know, by talking to other stylists, by, you know, going into the forums and polling people in my group and saying to them, what do you charge for hair? What do you charge for makeup? Most people, the majority of people, charge somewhere between $80 and $100 or $70 and $100 a face. So I can say, without a doubt, here in Australia, and actually in the States too, it's around the same kind of price. Generally speaking, people charge somewhere between $70 and $100 for hair, or, you know, for bridal updos or for makeup. That's a general, it's kind of a broad spectrum, and again, it's going to depend on a few different things, like where you live and who you're attracting, etc., etc. But that's kind of like the standard. Now, I can say that to you, but nobody said to me when I was in beauty school, when I was in or when I was in hairdressing school, no one told me, oh, you should be charging somewhere between, you know, $20 and $50 for a haircut. Nobody said that. No one's kind of gives you that information. No one gives you the kind of business side of building a business and being a business owner yourself. You can only do that research really yourself. So I kind of felt that was another reason why I felt compelled to share my kind of business experience with everyone, was because I didn't have it. I didn't have it when I started out, and I wish I did. The things that I teach you guys today, I wish I'd known at the beginning, because then it wouldn't have taken me, you know, 5 years to kick off my business. I could have done it from day one, which is what I'm trying to get everyone else to do that follows me in the group. Now, the third reason why people, so we've got the first reason being that people are kind of inexperienced. The second reason is that they feel like they don't deserve the prices that they're worth, that they don't feel like they're worth any more of a price. Now, the third reason is that they don't know any better. Here's what I mean. People doing makeup these days are not always educated. What I mean by that is that there are a lot of makeup artists out there who have only learned makeup through being part of, say, an MLM and or are self-taught. Now, first of all, before anyone gets crazy mad with me about that, there are some phenomenal makeup artists out there who have had not a shred of education. I do not want to take anything away from those people, because they are very, very, very talented. And just because you are part of an MLM or you have been self-taught does not make you a bad makeup artist. However, what I will say in that respect, somebody like myself who has paid money to go to beauty school, you know, you guys have done your diplomas in your specialist makeup specialist makeup. Those of you that have done your cosmetology license over in the US, when you have paid the thousands of dollars that we have paid, in our minds, we're thinking, God, if I only charge $35 a face, I am never going to pay back the money that I invested in myself. For those who are self-taught or part of the MLMs, they don't have that, right? Because they haven't spent that kind of money. So sometimes they don't know that they should be charging more because they don't have any kind of debts to pay off or anything in the back of their mind thinking, I invested thousands and thousands in myself, so therefore I need to get that return back. So this is not about them being good or bad. It's basically about saying that they need to they don't know what they don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. They don't know that we've paid thousands and thousands of dollars on our building ourselves up to become our own business, on our education, because they never had to do that. And so another reason why they charge a lower price than what some of us charge is because they've not been formally educated, is what I mean. Not that they're not educated, just that they've not been formally educated. They haven't spent thousands on their education. So in their mind, they're not trying to pay anything back. So sometimes you find that they charge a lower price because they just don't know any better. And the other reason is as well is that, like I've said before, people charge a price thinking, okay, well, I reckon maybe about, $50 a face sounds reasonable. Again, because they don't know, they haven't done the research, they don't know exactly what the industry prices are, etc., etc. So, as I said, there are phenomenal people that are self-taught and that are part of MLM. They've learned everything there is to learn about them, the makeup that they sell, and they've learned how to do makeup through that way, and they are absolutely amazing. But, when they don't have anything to compare against, they don't have anything to worry about, that's another reason why they don't have to charge as much as what we do. So, it is a genuine reason. I'm not saying that it's an excuse or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a genuine reason why people charge what they charge. Now, lastly, fourth reason why people charge a lower price than perhaps what you are charging right now, and that is socioeconomic status. Those people that are in an area where basically they can't afford to charge anymore because the people around them, the brides around them, don't earn as much. So you have to remember that as well. Now, I'm not saying that those brides couldn't afford, $60 instead of $35 a face, but another reason why people charge a lower fee is because they feel like the people around them cannot afford their prices, and they may live in a lower area, a lower suburb, a lower county, a lower state than what you do. So just bear that in mind as well. Again, for people that charge a lower price, I do feel like that there's one of those four reasons. It's either going to be, one, they're just starting out; two, they don't value themselves just yet because they're not quite confident enough in what they're doing. Number three, because they don't know any better. And number four, because they live in an area where people cannot afford to pay more than that. So when you are getting angry or frustrated about makeup artists that do charge those kind of under $50 prices, and that's the ones I know that people do get kind of angry about, just think about those reasons. Think about when you started out, and think about the fact that, they maybe just don't know what they don't know. They don't know that they should be charging more. And that's the whole point of I said, it's the whole point of this video, because I'm now telling everyone what kind of the industry standards, etc. are. And if you guys share this broadcast out and you, give me the thumbs up and let me know what you think, give me some comments below and let me know what you think, then we can start, tagging in some of our friends that need to know a little bit more about pricing and that need to build up their prices a little bit more. Now, that brings me straight on to my spreadsheet. Now, what I've done is I've put together a Google sheet for you, like a Google Doc, but like in an Excel format, so that you guys can input some of your numbers, so we can work out the lifetime value of our bride. Now, this is what I mean. We need to work out whether our prices that we're charging for the work that we're doing is actually making us money. So I've put together a really, really simple spreadsheet that you literally have to just pop in your numbers I think it's important to research. Tina says, I think it's important to research your area average also. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly it. That's why I said, you know, the standard around that I've noticed throughout Australia is somewhere around $70 to $100. And you are absolutely right, Tina. You need to work out what kind of the standard is around where you are, because you want to fall somewhere around that price. I don't feel like that you want to check the salon down the road and then, you know, undercut them. I don't think that's not going to help you in any way. But then you don't want to be so far over that you're not going to attract the brides that you want to attract. So it's all about balancing your area, and balancing that with the people that you want to work with or the people that you love working with. My area charges exactly. So Tina, you're in an area where you can probably charge over $100 a face, and which is fantastic. And if you can get those kind of brides that are happy to pay that price, then I think that's absolutely fantastic, and I think you should. But there are certain areas, I know where I live in the western suburbs of Melbourne, the brides that I was attracting, you know, my prices went from 70 and now I charge up to about $90 to $100. But now for me, I only attract my kind of clientele is I guess it's increased as my prices have increased, and I attract a different kind of bride now. But I also pick and choose my brides, and I only do the ones that are worth a good amount of money to me, because you know, I'm balancing it with my life now, doing my coaching, and then also having my family as well. So for me, I charge that a little bit on the higher end of anywhere around me here. Most people in my kind of little pocket where I am now are charging around $80 to $90 a face, which I think is you know, it's pretty reasonable. But what I want to do is I want to show you this. I'm going to flick over onto my screen, so I want to just quickly show you what I've done. Now, guys, if you want to get hold of this, just go to dawnsbridalarmy.com/waitlist. That will get you on the waitlist for for Bridal Business School, but you'll also get an email with a link to my 12 secrets to growing a successful bridal business, and you'll get a link to this sheets as well, where you can like work out your prices, and it's kind of a good time to reflect on what you've done over the last 12 months, because we're coming up to the end of the year now, and we can kind of start working and planning our 2018. Can you guys believe it? 2018. I'm like, it's October, and the next thing you know, it's going to be Christmas. I think my head's gone a bit fuzzy on that. All right, let's flick over onto my screen. That's not my screen. Let's have a look. Here we go. Okay, we're here. All right, so what I've done, as I said, I've set up a Google Sheets doc. This is, if you look down here, can you guys hang on if I move? I'm just going to move myself over here so I can see as well. Now, I'm hoping, actually what I'll do is, let me remove that overlay banner. Okay, let's move that out of the way. All right, now if I go over onto my spreadsheet. Okay, so what you can see at the bottom down here, if you guys can see down here, I've got two tabs. I've got one for your new bridal stylist. So those of you that haven't really been doing weddings very long, you're just starting out, this tab's for you to begin with. For my existing ones, I've got yours here as well. So you just can flick between the two and you'll be able to see. Now, for my new bridal stylist, this is what I want you to do. I want you to grab a planner for say 2018 or for the next 12 months. And I want you to work out the number of weddings that you could physically fit in over that 12-month period. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through your calendar, you go through your planner and go, okay, well, I could do a wedding on this Saturday and I could do one on this Saturday, and go through and see exactly how many days you're available, Saturdays, Sundays, Fridays, whatever it is. Then I want you to plug that number into the top here, and it's going to calculate for you the average number of weddings you're possibly able to do over a month period, right? So I've just popped in 45 weddings in the next 12. You say you were available 45 days out of next year to do weddings. So we split that up into 12 months. You're going to say you're doing an average of 3.75 weddings a month. This will calculate it for you. I've set it up so it could calculate it for you. And then we're going to that will automatically then put this into here. So if I just, let's say I'm going to change this just to 40 just to show you what it does. Oh, we're having some 3.33, so let's not do that. Let's go a little bit different. All right, well, we'll go back to the 45 maybe. All right, we'll just leave it as it is. I'll change that, guys, so it doesn't got all those points next to it. Now, okay, so let's say you're doing 45 over 12 months. It's 3.75 weddings a month. And then if we times that by 4 people per wedding, that's just an average, you're looking at servicing around 15 people a month. So you then need to put in your price, whatever that may be, 90, 100, 80, 70, whatever it is. Let's say you charged $75 a head. You know that your average revenue is going to be somewhere around $1,125 a month. So this is pretty simple, and then that's the revenue that you'll make per year on your 12-month period doing weddings. Now, there is like a little caveat to that, because if you then pump in your figures into the existing bridal stylists, so if we then pump in the 13,000, your revenue down here, what was it, 13,500. So if you then put it into here, 13,500, you can start working out a little bit more onto that. Because what happens with those of you that have been in the industry for a little while, what I want you to do is I want you to work out how many weddings you did just do in the last 12 months. Or how many weddings you've done so far, maybe, and then you type in the amount of months that you've been doing it. Now, if that's 11 months out of the last 12 you've been doing weddings, that's fabulous. Whatever it is that you've done in the last 12 months, calculate how many weddings you've done over however many months that you want. You need to plug in those two figures there, and it will tell you exactly how many weddings roughly per month that you've done. And you need to put in there your total revenue that you earned over that period of time. And this will just calculate everything for you. So you've earned, so I've just put this in here just roughly. Say you did 40 weddings over 11 months. You did 3.64 weddings a month on average. Your total revenue was $3,500 over 40 weddings. That means you made roughly on average $337.50 per wedding. This is quite self-explanatory, guys, as you can see. And then say the number, you need to work out the number of people you service so you can work out your average income per person. Now, this is where obviously it kind of tallies with one to the other, because when you come down to here, this is talking about the number of hours, I've not included travel, but the number of hours that you spend at each wedding. Now, generally speaking, I would always average out an hour per person. Sometimes it took me less than that. Sometimes it took me slightly longer than that, depending on a hairstyle. But I want you to work this out, but then I also want you to add on a little bit for the admin that you spend. You're also going to make sure that you add in, with your revenue totals, guys, add in your trials, all things like that. So anything additional that you did, but only wedding related. Don't do any kind of special occasion stuff, but anything that's related to your wedding. So what you charged on the day, and what you charged for your trials. But I want you to also remember that this price here, this total revenue, for those of you that are existing bridal stylists, you have to remember that you've spent a little bit of time on admin, and I would add in per wedding, an hour or two onto this total here per wedding to compensate for the time that you spent doing all your paperwork. And a lot of you will find that that's going to decrease. When we do, Bridal Business School is going to show you how to do a lot of things automated. We're going to try and set things up in your business so that you don't have to constantly be doing admin. But what you'll find is that then when we talk about this time next year, this figure will be a lot lower. Or if it's this higher, it's because you've actually earned a lot more and you've done a lot more weddings. That's what I want to see. But I want you to look at sort of how many, average yourself out. Okay, so say I did, say you did 40 weddings, that included, 4 people per wedding. So that's at least, if my calculations are right, about 160 hours of work, plus adding on a little bit for admin. So I want you to really break down your figures, because what that's going to do is give you your average income per hour. And I think this is really important, because I want you to make sure that this average income per hour is worth it to you. And if it's not worth it to you, then you need to come see me. You need to sign up for Bridal Business School, because we want to get that figure up. Because if that's not worth you getting out of bed for, then there's a reason, and we need to look into why it is, and how much time you're spending on each wedding and how much time you're spending on your admin. But this is kind of a really important figure. This bit here is really important to look at. Look at your total amount that you've earned. You're thinking, yeah, I've done really well. You know, I've earned myself, you know, $20,000 this year. You know, it's a great part-time wage. You know, I'm at home. I've got the kids to look after. But what does that mean for you in terms of hours? Let's see, let's change that into 20,000. But what does that mean to you in terms of hours? You know, did you spend 300 hours in total? And basically, even though you are charging $90 a face, it ends up working out that you're only coming away with $66 an hour. Is that enough? Is that high enough? Is it not high enough? What can you do about it? So I want you to look at these figures. Those of you, as I said, are new. You can kind of just sort of plumb things in. You can kind of forecast and look at what you can possibly do. And then, as I said, you can do the same thing as what we're doing now. Just roughly work out, if you did that, how many people you would service, and then add on a couple of hours onto those things for admin, etc. as well. And then you can work out whether your average income in the long run is going to be worth it. Because if that's down in the 20 to 30 kind of, I would say if that's 50 or under, you're going to be struggling to make a profit in your business. And that's what it's about. And this is why I'm talking about the lifetime value of a customer. Because if one customer is only worth to you under $50, when you're thinking about your products as well that you need to take from that, and maybe, you know, petrol wear and tear in that respect, you know, maybe that figure is not high enough, and I want you to understand that. So maybe that's a case when we think to ourselves, I'm not charging enough for what I'm doing. This is what that comes down to. The lifetime value of my customer is 25 bucks. I'm not charging enough. And that's when you can really understand and realize that you're not charging enough for your services, and that maybe it's time to put those prices up. Because even though when you add it all up, you're thinking, oh, I did quite well this year. When you actually break it down into how much work you actually did, think as well, you know, that a trial is going to be a couple of hours. So it's not only a couple of hours that you're adding in for your admin. You know, you've got to add in a few hours for your trial as well as, you know, the hours that you spent at your weddings. And some people will spend, you know, 5, 6, 7 hours on a wedding day. Maybe that's kind of the agreement that, you know, you spend half a day with your bride until they walk out that door at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you've spent all that time in the morning with that bride. You know, maybe you're not using your time efficiently. This number here is going to tell you exactly whether you are charging the right price. And that's why I said I wanted you to send this broadcast out to everyone that you know in the bridal industry, because they can get access to my spreadsheet, and they can plug it in and see if they're actually making any money in their business. Okay, that is all I wanted to say today. That is it. We are all done. I'm going to flip back over from my screen onto my face again. I hope this has been helpful for those of you watching. Thank you for watching me on the replay. If you want to get hold of my spreadsheet, I will drop a link in the comments below, but you can go to dawnsbridalarmy.com/waitlist, or you can click the learn more button above here on Facebook, wherever that may be. Thank you, Tina. And those of you that are already waitlisted, you have got an email in your inbox from me. I sent it last night, so a few hours ago. You're welcome, Tina. So I sent it a few hours ago. You've got a copy of that link sent to you already. So those of you that already have been on the wait list, do not despair. You also get a copy of this and a copy of my 12 secrets to building a successful bridal business. It is in your inbox right now, so go check that. Guys, thank you so much for being with me. Have a fabulous week, and I shall catch you guys again next week. As usual, please drop me comments. Please leave me any questions that you have below. If you want to see more of this kind of training, again, let me know in the comments below, and I shall catch you guys again next week. All right, take care for now, everyone. Bye.